Here we are, episode 21. Mitchell, good to see you.
Good to see you too. This is so exciting. I've never done this with you live before. I see names, I see real people watching us in real time, and it's very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, so we are recording our first live episode. We have people in the comments here who are hopefully going to share really anything they want, hopefully something positive or exciting or enthusiastic about board gaming. But we can talk about a range of topics today. If you're listening to this in the future, we're live right now in the past. It's Mitchell and I talking with other people chiming in and sharing their thoughts as well. I'm so excited for this episode, excited to hear what other people are excited about and how we end up bouncing off those topics. But Mitchell, what's the highlight of your day so far?
Well, this is the highlight of the day. I was helping my son get a car today. So that was it was a fun parenting day for me. So we went out together to the dealership, and it was his first time having to go through that experience. So it was a lot of fun for me with him. So yeah, that on a human level, but I was also very excited, Jamie, because I know we always talk about treat of the day. Yeah, I brought a visual aid. I actually brought the box because I've seen you do it on your videos where you'll actually have oh, look, you're shrinking again. What's happening?
I'm adjust my mic, so I'm making the mic closer to my mouth.
Didn't this happen last week with Tiny Jamey and Giant Mitchell? We're like,
Tiny Jamie's back.
Tiny Jamie's back. I love him. So do you want to start with your treat of the day, or should we jump to I don't know what to do. It's so exciting, so overwhelming.
Well, someone is actually prompting us here. Myron is jumping in with their treat of the day. Myron says, my treat of the day is ending my workday a couple hours early to watch some positive board game news live and do some game design on my own. That's a wonderful treat, Myron. I like to hear that. I like that your treat is taking off Friday a little bit early and combining that with a creative passion of yours. That's wonderful.
That's a beautiful treat. And Jamie and I usually we will have either something like a physical sweet treat or a food treat, or talk about like a treat, an experience treat. So we always mix them up. Did you have a treat of the day, Jamie? Tiny Jamie?
Tiny Jamie has two quick treats. One, right before we started, Megan came in. So we went to Japan last October, November, and Megan, I ate my treats that I brought back from Japan within like a week. Megan spaces them out much better than I, and she is now sharing them with me. And so she brought a Kit Kat from Japan. This is from Mount Fuji. We weren't on Mount Fuji, but we were in Yokohama, which is within almost viewing range of it.
Right.
And so this is a blueberry cheesecake Kit Kat from Japan.
Oh my gosh.
And then later tonight, I'm hosting poker night for the first time in quite some time.
Wow.
Poker night used to be how I hosted games on a regular basis before I started playing tabletop games on a regular basis. So that is my social treat of the night. What about you? Do you have a special treat?
I have a treat. I went to a candy store with my wife and my daughter, and I was looking at them getting all the little hard candies that they like having. And I was like, I'm more of a chocolate or a caramel guy. She said, oh, caramels. I have something for you. It's apparently made by Jacobson & Company. Oh. These are salty chocolate caramels. Basically, if you like caramels and you like chocolate, and it's not like they're fully chocolate, just infused with some chocolate. They are, if you like toffee or chocolate, these are absolutely brilliant. If you get addicted, please do not send your healthcare provider my information. It's not my fault, but I've become obsessed with these. And now it's like, if you have a chocolate craving, I pop one of these two and they perfectly satisfies the craving. Hi, everybody. Hey, Joe, thank you for that. Joel, thank you for that. We have so many people commenting and happy to be here and be with us. And it's really interesting to get, because we're used to recording this and not getting the feedback from people. We'll hear people, oh, I love that episode. But to get feedback live is so exciting. I really love this. We should do every episode live.
It is fun to have the comments. And StreamYard makes it really easy just to pop the comments up on the screen here. There are a few people saying, both Jeff here and Nolan are kind of in the middle of games of Vantage. We might talk about Vantage in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Ian wants a tiny.
Did you see what Ian said?
Yeah,
you saw that. You know what? Everyone needs a tiny Jamie. Forgetting about the Easter egg. Just we could stop there. Everyone needs a tiny Jamie in their life. Look at him sitting there. He's so adorable.
And then Garrett has a fun question. I did see a few earlier question about Vantage too, but we'll talk about Vantage in a minute. Garrett says, "What game would you say makes you smile the most while playing?" This is a good question for everyone. All these questions are for everyone, not just for us. We'll answer live, but anyone can chime in. But yeah, does one come to mind? I'll leave that up on the screen while we think about it.
That's really cool. You know what? I'm always, again, I hate bringing up zombie dice in a room full of gamers that play, but zombie dice is so simple and it's such a great social activity, or even something like Night of the Ninja. Those are two games that make me smile up just because I'm playing with large groups and I'm usually inviting people that have never played board games before to play those games, and they're getting excited for the first time about being at the table with a bunch of people. So those are the two that come to mind for me. Does anything come to mind for you, Jamie?
Well, I'm playing poker tonight. I can think of a lot of
Oh,
games that do this for me, but poker, I think tonight it'll be a little nostalgic, so I'll be happy in general since I haven't played it in a while. But also, whenever I'm a little sneaky in a game, I have a terrible poker face. Like
I
you
was
can
gonna
kind
say,
of
is that
tell.
doesn't smiling go against poker?
Yeah, I'll start to smile. I'll start to monologue, and so I have a lot of poker tells, but I'll definitely be smiling tonight if I get some good hands. We'll see.
That's awesome.
Looks like Stefan was in Japan a few years ago. He said, and was sure he could have a different type of Kit Kat for a full year. That's a good idea. Get enough Kit
Wow.
Kats to space them out. Have that. I don't know if I have that. Would you have that much? Not diligence. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Self-control?
Self-control, discipline.
Yeah,
Discipline is the word.
discipline. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
to space out a treat for that long.
Oh, no, no, no. They
Yeah.
would be consumed in I would be taken to the hospital with a giant gut filled with all the Kit Kats that I should have consumed over a long period of time. But the fact, I love that if you go to other countries, they'll have different variations of treats that we get here, usually
Yeah.
in flavors that you like a blueberry Kit Kat. I would never think about that. But I
Yeah.
love blueberries and I love chocolate. So what could be bad?
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Austin has. I guess we're almost doing a rapid fire today. We'll maybe slow it
Sure.
down for Vantage in a minute because I know Mitchell has some stuff to say about Vantage. But what is the weirdest theme? This is Austin. What is the weirdest theme you've ever seen in a board game that you enjoy?
I thought, I like the enjoy part. That adds a little something to it. Weird themes. I'm looking around at stuff in the office because I have my games in multiple
Yeah.
locations.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to think on this one. Do you have one that comes to mind, Jamie? Is there like, or any of you that are watching and listening, is there a special weird thing? Because I've seen some weird themes in some games, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of stuff that I've gotten to the table and said, "Wow, as weird as that was fantastic."
I'm
That's a great
glancing over
question.
at my collection. I see charcuterie, which is a game
Okay.
about
Oh,
arranging
yeah.
a charcuterie plate, and
That's great.
it is not a theme that I would have thought of to play a game, but by the end of the game, you really do, because of the art in the game. It looks like you've created a really beautiful charcuterie dish.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I'll throw that one out there, Austin.
I like that one. That is a great one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Oh, here we go. Jeff says, "What is your favorite project that Mitchell starred in?" And Mitchell, what is your favorite Jamey designed
Oh,
game?
wow. That is really tough.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. You know what? I would have said Viticulture
Okay.
as my Jamie design game because I love
Yeah.
Viticulture, but I had such an incredible experience with Vantage. I don't know now. And again, there are some others in between that I could jump into that you might not think of. But yeah, we have to talk about Vantage. But I would have, let's put it this way. Before a couple of nights ago, I would have said Viticulture, even though there are several Jamie games that I absolutely love.
Okay. We might have to segue that into Vantage. Now I'm curious if that's wonderful to hear. I'm glad you had.
Oh yeah, it was a very, very wonderful experience. So we'll talk more on that.
I'm only familiar with two primary pieces of your work, but
Okay.
I think both are excellent. I think that you being the voice of one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is pretty incredible. And I think the movie that most people know you for is also incredible.
My
I was
cousin
just talking
Vinny,
about it. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No. I usually get either my cousin Vinny Friends or TMNT if you're,
Oh, that's
you're
true.
blind. Yeah.
I didn't think about the
So,
Friends connection.
You know what? It's usually one of those things, but I love when people
Yeah.
come up with an odd thing. Like, you saw that movie. You were one of the two people that saw that movie. God bless you. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. So yeah,
Yeah.
I like when it's like really, really out there and like, oh, I love that movie. It's like, oh, I would never have thought of that. Thank you. That's weird.
Yeah.
And
I
by
do
the
need
way, yeah, go ahead.
it came up on the live cast the other day. I need to rewatch My Cousin Vinny. I think it might be a little surreal after knowing you as becoming friends with you. But I haven't watched it in a long, long time. So I'm curious to see if it holds up.
It's fun. You know what? It's on like at least once. I think people out there can really confirm this. It's on like once a week somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether it's pay TV or network TV, it's always on. People say, "Oh, I saw." I'm like, "Yeah, thank you. That's great." It's been on. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. Like, what is it? Almost 30 years later, 20 something years later. So it's crazy. It's weird.
That's incredible.
Very weird for me. Yeah.
That's 30 years of joy. So that's incredible.
I love that. That's it. But let's just rename the movie. When did it come out? 91? Wow, it's been out longer than I thought. I've been out here longer than I thought. It's time for me to get back out of here.
I wasn't even. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you know what? I watched your video, and people can attest to this. I was sitting there, Jamie, and I was like, my friend Jamie does not even remember how he met me. I was sitting there crying when you couldn't remember.
Do you remember? Okay, yeah.
Of course. Jamie, what color are my eyes? Yes, I remember. No, it was. I have a radio show on Sirius XM also.
Right.
That's all about tech. And I love board games and I love Jamey's games and I've watched his videos and love the positivity and how he would champion other people's games. Like, this is a great guy. I love his games. I have to think of an excuse to interview him on my radio show, which is a technology show. So I came up with the idea of like technology and board games. Like, okay, let's go with that. It's all I could think of. So we had Jamey come on the radio show and we talked about technology in the gaming space and how technology is used in creating games. It was a stretch. I wanted to meet my favorite game designer, who I thought was a really cool guy, and I thought this was a great way to do it. He came on the radio show. He was as nice as you could imagine, because you see him every week. He's great, and that's the first time we ever chatted, and I remembered it.
I feel a little dumb now for not thinking of that.
Don't feel dumb. Just shame will do. Shame is fine.
Okay.
Just don't feel dumb. You're not. No. So I was watching that. I was trying to yell at my TV. I was like, "We met from the radio show, Jamey."
I guess I didn't. That makes perfect sense for our first point of contact, and I just did not remember that.
You know what? All you remember is how much fun we have together, and I'm fine with that. That's all.
Exactly.
That's all we need.
I see a lot of people answering some of these questions, which is great. I love seeing the comments. I'll jump to the questions, but we might jump around to the comments as well. David says, "Do you ever have music on when playing board games? And if so, do you theme it to the game?" How about you, Mitchell? Do you ever turn on music when you're playing these thematic dungeon crawl games?
Yeah. I'll put on some eerie music. We'll have some eerie music on in the background sometimes. And some games that have an app component will have the music baked in. And I'm always amazed at how wonderfully thematic the music matches the game, because I don't assume that's going to happen. But yeah, I definitely do. You do that too, Jamey? Do you ever put on music when you're gaming, or is it too much of a distraction for you?
If someone, it's more that I don't remember to do it. If someone remembers to do it, then I'm happy to have it on, especially if it's, truly just background music. If it's, which is the type of music that we'd be listening to. Like if we're playing a Star Wars game, maybe then I would remember to put on some Star Wars music. Same for maybe other IPs where there's a lot of music easily available. And usually I just don't remember. Yeah. Yeah. Susanna, my coworker Susanna, is chiming in. She says that her husband had somehow never seen My Cousin Vinny, so we watched it a couple months ago, and it was fantastic to share that with him. It's really great. My mom would quote Marissa Tomei all the time.
I hear the biological clock ticking like all the time. People are always coming to me, and even Garrett was mentioning the scene in the prison cell with Joe Pesci.
Oh.
And just so you know, Garrett, a little bit of inside information. When I first read the script before that movie was anything more than a script, and I saw that scene, which happens pretty early on, I was like, I have to be in this movie. I have to be in this movie. And that was the scene that made me really want to do that film before I met the director, for any of that stuff. So I'm glad that you like that too.
That's really cool. Did you ever get to work with that? Who is the director? And did you ever get to work with him again?
I did. Jonathan Lynn was the director, a wonderful man. And we also did Sergeant Bilko with Steve Martin not that long afterwards. And, people saw the movie like, you didn't have a whole lot to do. I was like, yeah, but you know what? I had such a fun time working with Steve Martin, and it was the same director. And he said, would you like to do this film? What am I going to say? No, I'm going to pass on this. Of course I want to do another film with you. Of course, starring Steve Martin and other friends of mine. So it was wonderful. And Jonathan Lynn, as nice a human as he is a director. So that was like the bonus.
That's awesome. So last week we talked about classes, D&D classes. It was one of your topics.
Yes.
And Oviedo's game says, we heard about your preferred D&D classes.
Yes.
What is your color combo in Magic the Gathering? I don't know if we talked about that. Have you played Magic?
I am not a Magic player.
Okay.
I know, but I've always wanted to start, but I've always been a little bit afraid, because I know if you saw my board game collection and you saw how I talk about components and stuff, Jamey already knows it's like I'd be broke and I won't stay alone. I think Tracy would come visit me in my little room every once in a while. My wife would come visit me. So tell me about the color. How does that work in Magic? Because I'm really a noob when it comes to Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I think the color system in Magic is a huge asset of how they've grown the brand over the years. There's 5 primary colors of mana that you can spend in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
And each color has different types of abilities that you'll find within that color typically.
Okay.
Like if you play black, it's I think you talked about maybe the necromancer class recently.
Yeah.
That would be the black, the
so
black
dark
mana
magic,
class,
right?
Dark magic, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Often has ways to remove creatures, or green is also often like big beefy creatures that you can play. I
I was
jump
going to add,
around, but I like red. I mean, I usually play red in games. We've talked about that a little bit. And in red, red usually has a lot of direct damage that speeds the game up and makes it pretty snappy typically.
okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. I have to learn a little bit more, but again, I'm a little nervous because I know myself and
Yeah.
I know how I would just go like, I would go magic crazy. It wouldn't be like a little
Yeah.
taste. I'd dive all the way in and that could be a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I
A dangerous thing.
knowing your habits in gaming, I can definitely see that. I see we have a hello, Freya. My daughter who met earlier this summer says, yes, Stefan. Yes, it was wonderful to meet Freya. And good to hear
That's
from you
sweet.
as well. Philip has a question. Let's talk about Vantage for a minute. Philip
Yes.
Philip, we'll use your question to segue into Vantage. Philip says, do you have a favorite location card in Vantage purely for the feeling
Ooh.
it evokes? I have a favorite location that always makes my heart sing when I find it. Makes my heart sing that you have that connection to Vantage already, Philip.
That's wonderful. That's
I'll
wonderful.
think about that. But and Mitchell might have an answer. But Mitchell, did you get to play Vantage recently?
I
Why don't you
did.
talk about that? Yeah.
Oh boy, I've never played a game like it. I can honestly say if you haven't played Vantage yet, you're in for a treat because it doesn't play like any other board game I've played. It evoked so many emotions and feelings when I played, and it's almost like if three people could have a baby. I'm trying to think when we started playing. There was a little bit of D&D feel to it. There was a little bit of the game Myst. If you ever played the computer game Myst, and a little bit of Zelda, I could see the influence of Zelda a little bit, of course, and the art. And there were three distinct ingredients that went into this. Because Jamey, do you played the computer game Myst? It was sort of like
a long time ago, but yeah.
Okay. And I love the fact that basically you had an image and then you would go closer to the image. You can choose which cardinal direction to get away from that. And then you'd have to explore that room. And it was such an exciting time when I played that game, the exploration of it. And then the shared experience at the table. My brother and his girlfriend, Lee Nicole, were in New York. They had their setup. And as I've said before, it's a great game to play remotely. And I had my setup here. And we were just exploring, and I know it's possible, and I love the fact that you included a solo mode for it. But I would recommend if you can get it to the table with other people, there is such a wonderful experience of sharing what you see, what you want to do, how you explore this world. And I've never had an experience like this before. Again, it's like I've never had anything, but it's true. I never really have. And I didn't know that you could have these sort of feelings and experiences in a board game. And I've had many wonderful different experiences in board game, but this was so different because it combined the things that I loved about video games, the social aspect about being at the table, even virtually with other people, and then experiencing this feeling that I've only ever had in video games before. So it was so immersive. And I love the components too. We could talk about that later because the components were great and I loved holding everything. It was a wonderful experience. And again, the art is so immersive. And I think I opened the Book of Vantages. That's the right thing, right?
Yeah.
The Book of Vantages. So I was the only person that got to open the Book of Vantages. And I felt
cool.
such a responsibility because I won't give away what's in the Book of Vantages, but you're getting to see things that other people at the table do not see just by, even when you're looking at your cards. But the Book of Vantages give you even more insight to what your bigger picture of what your game is doing. And I felt such a responsibility. I was like, I don't know how to explain what I'm seeing. Let me explain. And I went into this detailed explanation of everything just because I felt like I'm the only one who can see this. Yeah. I better tell you because it could affect how we go physically and, in other ways in the game. So I was blown away. I was blown away. I highly recommend the game, but there is so many details, of course, to go into. But yeah, love this game.
It means so much for me to hear that from you, Mitchell, and it actually means a lot that you said that you enjoyed not only the remote play but also the multiplayer play.
Oh yeah,
I very much designed it to be played with other people, and I was almost surprised that it played so well solo. To me, it's a nice, chill solo game.
Right.
But I love going on that adventure with other people when I have the option. It was designed that way from the ground up.
And there's so many surprises. Yeah, and again,
yeah.
I like that you didn't talk too much about what you experienced in the game because you don't want to take away from the surprise of it. But oh my gosh, so many things. My brother started a fight and I didn't want him to. Lee, if you're watching this, you shouldn't have gone after that thing like the way you did, but I like the way it turned out. It was great. The game really had a great way of resolving it for us. So there you go.
I've been trying to think if I have if I answer to Philip's comment about my favorite location purely for the feeling it evokes. And Philip, I'm sure there is. I'm trying to, because I get a lot of feelings when I look at the art in Vantage. I know that's weird to say as the designer, but that was like one of the great joys of designing it, because the artist would send me these big batches of art and I would just be like, oh, wow, this is really, like, I didn't think that this could be in the world, but this beautiful creative mind thought to put it in there and I'll make it work now. So it's hard for me to say that because I have so many. Is there maybe one? I don't know, Mitchell. Was there? You mentioned the one from the Book of Vantages. There might be that
Yeah.
one. But was there anything on the elsewhere that maybe stuck out that you?
I wish, yes. I wish I remembered the card number. I should have remembered so I could talk. But you know what? Again, I didn't want to give it away.
Yeah.
So again, this is one of those games where you feel so excited to share, but at the same time, you feel respectful of the material so that you don't want to share too much so people can experience for themselves when they see it.
Right.
There was a card where I was put on the planet. It was a mountainous area, and I chose to go into sort of this chasm or this cave area. And when I came out and went, I think, a little further north, there were these. It's hard to tell if they were buildings or mountain carvings. And again, it gave me that warm feeling, that Legend of Zelda feeling. Just the drawings, the symbols. I didn't quite understand what they are, and I still don't. But I'm going to continue exploring. But the look, the art was beautiful. And again, the feeling that it gave me of exploring something in one of the Legend of Zelda games where I should know what these mean. If I knew what these glyphs meant,
yeah,
in relation to where I was and what was going to happen, I wish I knew more about it. So there was this one card that showed this, like I said, beautiful sort of mountains / buildings with the hieroglyphics and drawings on them that were just gorgeous. So I wish I had the card number, but I don't.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I think that's a good way to describe it, to focus on what you're seeing. Well, I'm really happy to hear that. Maybe we'll see some other comments about Vantage here, but I'm glad you had a good first experience with it.
By the way, I just got a text from my brother Lee in real time who's watching this. I have no regrets for fighting what I did. He has no regrets starting that fight. You know what? It all ended up really good. So it ended up really well. So Lee, I can't begrudge you for that. But yeah, good. I was sitting there, and again, it's one of these games you can't alpha game in this. People want to have to experience their own way. He's like, I'm going to start a fight, and I was sitting there going, oh, please don't. Please don't. And he did, and I couldn't stop him, and it was great. It ended up working out great.
Nice. There's a question from Jeremy for you here, Mitchell. Jeremy says, "Did you pick a fantasy series to read?" He recommends.
Jamie, you said Mistborn, right? You said that's where I should start.
Mistborn was one that we're talking about. Yeah,
that's what I'm starting with. I haven't started reading it yet, but that was my decision because enough people. I think you weren't the only one. I'd shared your thoughts on it, and it's anything by Brandon Sandy. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's
so. Yeah, Mistborn is going to be the one. So I will have my full report in future episodes.
So our mutual friend Jacob here, who regularly attends the digital game night that I host every other Wednesday, is asking when you're going to come back and join us. Yeah.
When is the next one? Is it this coming or the next Wednesday? Next, I'll be there.
Okay. Oh,
how's that?
There you go.
How's that? And now I'm not. Now I have to. I've said it, and people have heard it, and I heard him say it. He'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there, Jacob.
I think I'm going to put words in your mouth here, Mitchell, but I think it's a little harder for you because it's so much earlier for you. Like we start at 7:00 my time, which is 5:00 your time, which is pretty early in the evening.
It is. Games. But you know what? It's a good group of people that are worth going on early with. I can do it. I can definitely make it work. I will be there. Let's see. There's so many comments. Look at all these great comments.
Here's a fun question from Eric. Eric says that his family met James Arnold Taylor at Disney World around 12 years ago. So are all voice actors as friendly and positive as the two of you are?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have to admit, first of all, James is a friend of mine. James Arnold Taylor is a good friend of mine. He's a great guy. Talk about just a sweet, genuine. He's one of the good people on the planet in this world. So you met one of the good ones. I have to say that compared to the on-camera world and like my on-camera and the live action film and TV making, there's some wonderful people there as well. But I find the voice world seems to be a much more, not evolved. I think the people there are wonderful. And I think even more so than the live action. I think that the people in the voice world are a tremendous group of people. So yeah, I first of all, again, thank you for the compliment. I'm sure there's some bad apples everywhere. We know they're everywhere in life. You're going to find that. But I think in terms of the entertainment industry, some of the best people and most creative and talented are in the voice world, because again, you're creating characters that you don't have the advantage of being able to see. You're just hearing. So they have to create these characters with just their voice. So I've met some of the most talented and nicest people in the world in the voice world. So yeah, I'd say you, and you met a great one with James. He's just salt of the earth, sweetheart of a guy.
That's really neat to hear. I'm watching. I've talked about this a little bit, but I've gotten really into Dropout.tv.
Okay.
And they have there's a show there called Dirty Laundry,
Okay.
where it's a few different people, oftentimes comedians, but they have a bunch of other people show up who share embarrassing stories.
Oh,
And they've had some voice actors. I think the most recent one I watched had the voice actors from Star Trek Below Deck, I think is the show.
Okay.
And there's 4 of the voice actors from this animated show, and they seem to be delightful, very funny people. So that was neat.
It's a great group. It's a great group. And it's like, the voice world is sort of, it's not as well known as, people that are on camera. Cause again, you see them
Right.
but again, such incredibly talented. Well, people, I'm sure a lot of gamers know Critical Role. That was a bunch of voice actors that just decided to put their D&D on camera. And that's how it started. And, it's just the stuff they come up with is incredible as well. So yeah, amazing.
I don't have a good answer to this question, but I like the question. The Champion Faction says that the Beyond Solitaire podcast, another podcast, had J. Ray Lee on to discuss Unsettling Catan, the first book in a scholarly series by the University of Michigan Press, diving into specific games. What game do you want to see examined scholastically?
Wow, what a great question. Your audience is incredible, Jamie. Wow. You know what? Hold on a second. I think I have one. Because again, when it's this, it isn't just the gameplay necessarily. It's what it represents and how it pertains to the real world and that's where I'm going with my head.
Yeah.
A game that has real world implications. And so what was I thinking of? Okay, I think I took a picture. I took a picture of my whole Foundations of Rome would be interesting to me.
Foundations of Rome. Okay. Yeah.
Both for the time period and for the time period, architecture, and economy, and how those 3 things would combine would be very interesting to me, because the time period and obviously that time of the world was very interesting. So many things, inventions, so many great things came out of that era. But then you mix in the real estate aspect of it and the financial aspect of it. Then I thought that would make a very interesting deep dive to me.
I like that pick.
I don't know why, but that's the first thing that came to mind.
And to give you credit, that is a game that Mitchell kind of encouraged me to play for a long time. That I didn't play for a long time, but I did finally get to play it last year and had a great time playing it.
It's a fun game. It's a lot of fun.
I know we already talked about Magic the Gathering a little bit, but and there probably are books about Magic the Gathering from a scholastic perspective, but it is one of the few games that I follow where I wish there was more discussion about almost like set reviews for Magic the Gathering. This is a little bit different than the question, but for every other game, I can go on YouTube and look up reviews for a game to learn about a reviewer's perspective about a game. Magic doesn't really seem to have that all that much. People are reviewing like if a card is competitive or not in the competitive Magic the Gathering scene. I know there's a great audience for that, but that is not my interest in it. I want to look at it from a game design perspective. I don't see a lot of people talking about it from that perspective.
That's interesting. Yeah, that would be good too. That'd be good too. I could see that.
I see some wonderful comments about Vantage here. I'll throw a few of them up on the screen here. Here's one from a frail old lady. I'll read them to our podcast audience. Vantage has been the only game I played solo more than once. I think I played it 5 times in the last week. I think a couple losses and a few wins in a row. That's great. Hopefully you're having fun with the wins and the losses. Oh, here's one that says, Galaxy Conqueror says, it's so satisfying, win or lose, to get to explore the world.
I feel the same way. I have to try it solo to see how that experience is different, just because to me it seems like such a social game, but I'd love to experience that solo aspect as well. Yeah,
I could echo the chill statement that I said about it. Which it's been one of the two surprises to me for solo gaming have both been games that I've designed, Rolling Realms and Vantage.
Oh yeah.
Where Rolling Realms, even though I play it live and I kind of feel like I'm playing with people, I really am essentially playing a solo game of Rolling Realms. And Vantage too. Like I wasn't expecting to have that experience. I wanted it to work solo, but I usually don't work on our solo games.
Oh, that's funny.
Let's see. I'll scroll down. We're probably a little bit behind on time, so I'll look for some questions here to see what here we go. Ray said, "Did Mitchell play the Mistborn deck building game or any other Sanderson IP games?"
I have the Reckoners. I haven't played Reckoners yet. And I just got Mistborn, and my brother started playing it, so he should chime in and tell me what he thinks, because I think he really liked the game a lot. So that is one that Mistborn I am definitely going to be playing soon, because
Cool.
I'm very interested, obviously, in the IP from the readings perspective, but also, and Jamey, you've played that as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's one of the more recent purchases for me, and
Okay.
I look forward to playing that one some more.
Okay.
Yeah. Garrett says, Mitchell, have you ever designed or considered designing a game?
I have not. And the only one I've considered is one that I actually mentioned, I think, on our podcast, which is, and I've talked about, again, with my brother and our friend Vincent, we've talked about doing something with Fringe. I would love to see a Fringe game. And if there's any way I can make that happen, obviously I don't have the designing chops, but I think I have enough in-depth knowledge of it and some mechanisms in mind that even I talked about with Jamey on the show a little bit. And I don't know, I think it would be something really different. And if I was going to do a game, it would have to be something I was passionate about. And being that it's my favorite television show of all time, and I think it has mechanisms that would play really well as a board game in many different ways. There's so many ways to go. That would be the one that I'd want to attack. That's a great question.
That is consistent with the Mitchell lore that we know from this podcast.
Mitchell lore. Oh God, I have a lore. What's wrong with me? I have a lore.
Joe gives a shout out to a podcast that I gave a shout out to. Dice Jesters is a podcast that I mentioned that does. They play a game 10 times and talk about it, and I'm glad Joe that you enjoyed checking that out. Oh, it looks good. It looks like we're. Oh, here. Let's see. Natalia says, when is Vantage coming to Portugal? I think that's the game that you're talking about, Natalia. Vantage is already available in Portugal in English, shipped from our fulfillment center in the UK. But the worldwide retail release for Vantage is still in English, is on next Friday. Not this Friday is recording, but August 15th is the worldwide. But I don't know about the Portuguese version. That's a question for the Portuguese publisher.
That's a good question too.
Oviedo says, the Board Game Insider podcast, another podcast, just talked about what their ideal board game food would be. The resounding answer was sushi. What would yours be? Given how much we talk about treats, this is a good question for us too, I think.
Ooh. Sushi is good because you're eating it with chopsticks for the most part.
Right.
And I don't like to touch things like if you've heard our podcast or watched any of our videos before, I love my components so much that I don't want to sully them with any of my consumables while I'm playing. So anything you could do with chopsticks, any Chinese or Japanese, although sushi would be the best way because it does not a lot of sauces, but sushi is a great board gaming food. I try to eat like before, so we're all fueled up, and then have little breaks during games and have little snack breaks. But sushi is a good way to go. That's a good call.
I think my pick might. I'm a little biased here, but Susanna, my coworker who's watching, her husband works for a chocolatier, and he has done this enterprising thing where I didn't realize this, but at a chocolatier, they kind of waste a lot of the chocolate. They're like the excess chocolate just can go wasted. He realizes at a certain point that it was still perfectly good chocolate. And so he takes that excess home and makes his own chocolates out of this really good local St. Louis milk chocolate. And so Susanna brings these homemade delicious chocolate treats to game night every now and then from her husband Joe, and they are really, really good. So
but you can also eat with chopsticks, by the way. But
you can eat anything with chopsticks. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Ray says, what's the least mainstream talked about TV show that you each enjoy? Fringe, I think, is still somewhat of a good pick for that, but we'll pick something else other than a Fringe. What's the least mainstream or talked about TV show that you each enjoy?
Go for it, Jamey. I have one, but I want to hear yours first.
Let me think about what I'm watching right now. I'm so focused. Like whenever I get a question like this, I'm like, what did I watch today? And then I can remember that, but I can't remember the more eclectic ones. Actually, I'll throw out AP Bio. Was a show. It has one of the guys from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay.
He did this show for a few seasons called AP Bio, and I really love the show. And I think it maybe lasted 2 or 3 seasons. It never really took off. It was about a teacher who didn't really want to be a substitute teacher. He didn't want to be there, and he's in a classroom with a bunch of these quirky kids. And once I think the show realized how great the kid actors were, they were probably actually in their 20s. The show was just really, really, really funny.
Oh, wow.
So I'll pick AP Bio. Did one come to mind for you?
Yeah, it's one of my go-tos. I seem to like these shows that have one name. So along with Fringe, it's one of my guilty pleasure shows that not a lot of people know it. I think they've heard of it. It's called Grimm. It was on NBC for about 5 or 6 seasons, 6 seasons, I think, technically 5.5. that was loosely based on the Grimm fairy tales. And the idea that there was like monsters inside of certain people and only Grimms could see the monsters inside people when they didn't want them to. And I love this show. I don't know. Now that as I'm explaining it, sounds really hokey, but it's so much fun. I just finished watching it completely through for like the fourth or fifth time, maybe at this point. And I was telling Jamie with my shows, I always cry at the same spots. I laugh at the same spots. And I had the same emotional reaction on the last episode that I watched last night. I will restart it in 2 weeks, just saying. I don't know what it is about those, Fringe and Grimm, but Grimm, if you haven't watched it and you like just sort of, fantasy stuff, it's really well done and it's a lot of fun.
I'll have to see if Megan's watched that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Jeff, again, someone from our virtual game night, he says, "Can you make it to Geekway to the West next year or in the future? Do you think that's a convention where you might try to?" I
absolutely do, especially since Jamie and I have become friends. I don't really have that many friends that I've never met in person. It's really kind of weird. Jamie, we're a weird friend couple, so I have to come out just to hang. But yeah, I've heard so many great things about it, and I love the fact that it's a game players convention too, which I think is super cool. I love the fact that people really enjoy playing games there and not just, again, the different conventions are for different things. And sometimes see the newest stuff that's out. But I love the idea of Geekway. And, Jamie has mentioned it before. So yes, I will definitely be at a Geekway in the future. Hopefully next year. I'm going to try and make that happen next year. But definitely within the next two, I will be there.
Jared chimes in to say that his daughter named their cat September after the character in Fringe.
And Jared, my friend Michael Cerveris played September in the show. He's another old friend of mine from Los Angeles, another super talented guy. Yes, I love that character, and that is a great name. And my birthday month. Not that it means anything. I'm just saying I have that another bond with September as well. Yeah.
Justin has a nice comment about solo Vantage. He says, "I usually die in about a half an hour and have lots of fun. And when I win, it's so sweet." That is, I like that, Justin.
We didn't die. We just failed. We took 3 hours to fail, but we failed. But we didn't care. We didn't care. We wanted to play right away again. It was so cool.
Chad says, "What do you do after playing a good game? Do you discuss the game? Do you quietly contemplate your strategy? Do you think about the next game?" That's a neat question. After you play, you're really satisfied with. What is your first reaction to do with that satisfaction? Satisfaction? That's not a word.
No,
satisfaction.
Satisfaction was good too. I like that very much. You create words and board games. It's fantastic. I don't know. I mean, Jamie, my first reaction is sort of, especially if it's something that I love. It's like, man, I really love that. What about you? And I want to know from the table, did they have a similar reaction in terms of the things that I related to, the things that I enjoyed about it? That's always my first thing. I'm not usually thinking about strategies unless, because again, I try to get those competitive juices, not let that be the first thing that, resonates with me. Because, I want to get better. I can win this time. So I try and usually stay away from that. But the strategy is definitely going through your mind or things that you could have done. Because usually the first time you play a game, you'll only know afterwards the best things that you could have done. It's easy to hindsight being what it is. So the first thing I think my first reaction is always to find out the reaction that other people at the table had, and then talk specifically like what moments they enjoyed as well. What about you, Jamie?
There's certainly some of that. I do like to, especially if I can tell that other people really enjoyed it too. I like to talk about it in that way. Oftentimes, the strategy part of it is often for me happening during the game where I'm thinking, where I'm enjoying the game almost because I know there are paths that I haven't taken yet. And I'm like, "Ooh, well, I'm enjoying this path that I'm on right now, but I'm already excited to play again in the future to take this other path." That's a sign to me that I'm really enjoying the game.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, I'm a game designer, so I can, if a game is really making me think about the game design or how I might apply something from that game to a future game, or just if it's inspiring, not necessarily in a way that I will even use it, but if it's just inspiring in general, that is, that part of it is often internal.
I like that.
After a game. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. But yeah, the strategy definitely does come up. And I'm always thinking about what, how fun it would be to try something I didn't do that time. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
The champion faction. So we are going a little bit long. We'll maybe wrap up in like 5 minutes.
Sure.
But the champion faction says after watching, he's watching Murderbot on Apple TV. Very funny and not as violent as the name implies. Have you seen it? It's on my list. I have not seen it yet, though.
I have not seen it either.
Yeah.
I love the name though. And the fact that it's not quite, now I'm intrigued. Not quite as violent. The bots only murder sometimes, but only if they have to.
Austin says, "Can you both do two truths and a lie about yourselves?" Why don't we? I like that, Austin. Why don't we do that on a future episode?
That is a great idea.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one to do. On the
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I
I'll
like
make a
that
note
very
about that,
much.
Mitchell. We'll do that in the future. Chris says, "What's that one show you mentioned once that is about solving crimes with a bird watcher, something like that?" Yes, that was on Netflix this past year called The Residents. That was a
Oh,
show
wow.
set in the White House that has the feel of like Knives Out, like a closed mystery, and the lead character is a bird watcher. I highly recommend. It's a really, really good
Oh,
show.
that's
Yeah.
cool. That sounds really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's called The Residents. Tiny Tactician says, "Do you think talking out your turn at the table is necessary for a good experience? I hate a silent table. Might as well play a Board Game Arena with randoms." So talking about your turn, that's interesting.
I
How
think
do
it's a
you
great
approach that, Mitchell?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I was just going to ask you. I think that's a great teaching tool,
Yeah.
especially if you have people at the table that have never played the game before. It's so much better than guiding them through their own turn, or not better than. It's a great way to also help another player. Like, okay, here's what I'm doing, and here's why.
Yeah.
I find myself doing that with new people at a table, or if I'm the new player at the table, to make sure I'm thinking the right way. Because sometimes if you like learning through gameplay, which is one of the ways I enjoy learning games, I want to make sure, okay, here's what I'm doing and here's why. Not so everyone like, haha, applaud me, all of you, but just to make sure, okay, here's what I gleaned from that explanation of the game. Am I thinking correctly in terms of wanting to do this? So I'll do it for that reason, but also to help other people that are also learning the game. And I think some of my friends might do it occasionally also just to upset me, but that's a different reason. Totally different reason. But yeah, I see. I will definitely sometimes do that. What about you, Jamey?
Your answer resonates 100% with me. I would say almost the exact same thing. Like last night, I was learning a game new to me called Tiletum, fairly heavy Euro game from about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I did that exact same thing where I would say out loud what I was doing, almost as like a check to make sure to show the teacher, hey, like this is what I'm doing. This is my understanding of it. You can stop me at any time if I'm saying the wrong thing. And as you said, when teaching a game too, I think that's a great teaching tool.
And it's always great if you do it with a high pitched at the end of the thing, almost like a question. I'm going to move here and take this twice.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, oh no, I take it back.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Tiny Tactician says, "I agree with Uncle Mitch." They're calling Mitch. "I always ask after we finish a game, what would you rate it? Was it fun?" Interesting. I don't know if I ask people what their ratings are after a game, but I could see that being a valid question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you rate games on Board Game Geek, Mitchell?
I don't usually. I've been tempted to if it were me, I'd probably only rate the ones that I really loved and resonated with me if I did. But I'm also aware that it's such a subjective thing. I'd rather talk about the things that I love about a game than give it a hard number. But I've rated stuff before, but I don't really do it that often. Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, do you rate games or?
I use it as my way of tracking what games that I've played. I know there's another way to do that on Board Game Geek, but that is the way that I use it.
Yeah.
Oviedo Games says that they're interviewing first-time game designers. What program do you two use to record? We're using something called StreamYard right now.
Right.
Mitchell, you've also had good success with. Remind me of the name of the other one that you like.
Riverside?
Riverside
was another good one. Yeah, I think they're both really good. I think Riverside incorporates more AI for doing post-production. But StreamYard is also excellent for doing what we're doing now, doing live chat, which is great. And also it's fairly easy to operate. I think Jamey said it was pretty easy. The interface, the UI was pretty easy to use. So yeah.
We have just a couple more questions here. I see 2 questions from Chad. Here's a fun one. He says, "What cartoon character would you eventually like to voice act Mitchell?"
Oh, wow.
That you haven't already done. Yeah.
That I haven't already done. I've always wanted to be part of the Spider-Verse. And because again, a lot of it is the tone, the timbre of your voice. And I have a voice that's a little on the younger side and less gravelly voice. So I always thought that playing Spider-Man or one of the Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse would be a fun thing for me to do. I've always wanted to do that. But if it never happens, I'm totally cool. I've gotten to do, Transformers and, TMNT. So I've been very fortunate, but I'd love to do Spider-Man at some time. So yeah, if all of you are listening and making the new Spider-Man, basically I'm your dude. That's all I can really say. Spider-Man would be awesome. I'd love that. I don't know why that resonates with me, but I definitely New York kid. So yeah,
Right.
Spider-Man would be great.
I think isn't the third Spider-Verse movie maybe in production, some stage of production at this point?
I think it has to be because this,
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second one yet. And I know it's a two-parter,
Oh.
right? I think it's
Yeah.
a two-parter. So
Yeah.
I would think it would, I think they probably made them concurrently. I think they did, or
Okay.
sorry, consecutively. I think they did.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it comes out soon because the people that I know that saw it absolutely went bonkers. So it's the first one was brilliant, beautiful to watch, and just a great story. Maybe one of the best Spider-Man things ever done. So.
A friend recently sold me on another movie that used the same animation department, I think, called K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix. A title that I glanced over several times on Netflix before he said the same animation department, actually a really good movie, and it was actually a really good movie.
It was really good, huh?
It was really
K-pop
fun.
Demon Hunters. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's like Murderbots. Don't judge a project by its title.
Right.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. And here's maybe our last question.
Okay.
Another one from Chad here. He says, I just culled a bunch of games from his collection that never got to the table. It was oddly satisfying to not have them looming. Do you ever feel relieved after culling games from your collection? I'm particularly interested in your answer to this, Mitchell, because I know you are such a collector. How does it feel when you get rid of a game?
I think I'm split on this. I totally understand that feeling of, look, if I'm not going to play this, I feel bad that it's sitting here and it's not getting love and attention when someone could be giving it love and attention and enjoying it. So there is that relief of, okay. And I tend to, share my games with my friends. So it still stays in our play group, but I know that if, they can get it to the table with somebody else, if I'm not playing as much as I can to get all my games played. So I feel really good about it, but I have had experiences where I feel the shame and regret, more regret than shame, where I'm like, I never should have given that away. I have to have it again. It's sort of, for the most part, there is that feeling of relief because the game will get attention, especially if it's within your friend group. It makes it all that much more fun that your friends can experience it. But yeah, I think I've had both sides of it, right? I've felt that relief. And then it was pure relief and it was great. And I moved on, and then it was relief / regret afterwards. And I was horrified and had to have it back. Not from them, but I'm ashamed to admit this. I have rebought a game after I've given it away, and then I ended up playing and enjoying it. So there you go. So
that's great.
Yeah. Don't judge me.
Sure
I'm a fragile flower.
Publishers are glad that people like you exist, Mitchell.
Publishers everywhere applauding me. Yes, Mitchell, we yes, give it away and get it again. You dysfunctional man. Go for it.
And for me, I very much I love the games that I have in my collection, but I am much more of I want to be playing the games that I have if I'm not actively playing it, or if I hadn't actively played it in a while. And kind of like what you said, if I know there's someone who is excited to play it, or even just have it,
yes,
I am happy for them to have it. However, I am in a good relationship with someone who has a very different opinion on that. And so Megan and I have to talk about that to make sure that the right games leave the collection. She has a strong nostalgia factor tied to
I have attachment like that as well. I get that. Yeah. And sometimes just seeing it, we've had like people even make comments, just seeing it on your shelf was like, oh, there's that comfort of like, oh, it's there. Yeah. So I get that too. No judgment here.
Susanna says that she's going to teach Vantage tonight. Thank you, Susanna, for doing that. I think you mentioned Merlin and one of your other friends. Thanks for a lovely conversation. Thank you. And as we start to wrap up here, thank you to everyone who joined us. Mitchell, thanks for doing this. I know this is a little new for you to do the live show. Thank you so much for giving it a try.
Thank you for suggesting it. We turned 21 today, so we're officially almost grown up. So I'd love to do this again at some point. I don't think it has to be a one and done. We can do it on our 42nd. On our 63rd, every 21 we can do this. But yeah, this was a blast. And thank everyone who, first of all, I know there were so many people leaving so many nice comments and complimentary and just so much kindness and joy here. So it was really fun to be a part of that. I loved it. Thank you.
Those are all the reasons why I am grateful to be a part of this podcast. So thank you, Mitchell, and thank you to everyone who chimed in today with your questions, your comments. This was a lot of fun. I hope you all have a great weekend. And yeah, including you, Mitchell. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too, Jamie. You too, everyone. I'll see you soon.
Bye. See you soon.